Welcome to Gear Up, and on this little episode we're going to talk about the ever faithful 3-inch minnow, how to rig it, and how I've been fishing it the last 2 weeks. So let's check out some clips and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, he's on. Oh, he's got a top one.
Right, so let's have a look at 3 main factors. I'm going to quickly show you how to rig the 3-inch minnow. Then we're going to look into colours and colour choices and the weights of jig heads that you may possibly use. Then we're going to move into the species that I've been chasing lately and the weights and how I've been approaching that. Amongst all this, I'll throw in a few little offcuts of what I've been doing lately to show you what we've been catching or what we haven't been catching also in the last couple of weeks. So let's dive right into rigging it straight up. Okay, so a lot of you may know this already, but if you haven't fished with these before, I'll just quickly run through this. You've got your 3-inch minnow, nice undercut tail, have a bit of a dorsal fin up the top there with a bit of a gap, and we've got a fair bit of body to lay the hook in. I'm using, in this case, a TT headlocks, size 3/0, on a 1/4 ounce jig head, which is a very popular weight for chasing flatheads and a heap of different species. So quickly, head goes up the top. You just want to line up where it's going to come out on the top there, and you'll have a line down your plastic. So either that, or you can run a little nick in there, so I know where that's going to go. And ideally, you want to get them as straight as possible. So just bring that jig head through the top there. Just push him through, and then you'll see in between them fins at the top there, you'll see the hook point starting to come through. Just bring him through and then slide over the keeper there. The keeper is built there so that your plastic doesn't slide off. Just slide him up nicely. I give it a bit of a push up there, and then I generally flip him around and then just get him sitting right on the hook. So you can see that's come up in between the fins there nicely. We've got good hook exposure and the plastic looks natural. So once that's swimming in the water, that'll look really good. So as I said before, we've got a nice undercut tail which gives it plenty of movement. A nice body, so you get that nice little bit of body roll and it fits beautifully. So there you go. There's a quick little rig up. We'll move on to a couple of colour choices and size jig heads you can use. Okay, so when it comes down to colours, there's a bit of an unspoken rule on what should cover everything. So if you're going to shops and you're looking at all these different colours, a slight rule of thumb would be get something natural looking, get something dark so it'll have a silhouette in the water, and then get something that would be a bit fluoro. So just offhand, I've got a few here. Electric Chicken, and I'll overlay these. Very fluoro, awesome lure. That's probably one of my favourite colours. Opening Night, another one of my favourite colours. And then if you want something a little bit darker, maybe you could go to Midnight Oil. So there are a few different, different fluoros, and there's a few different clear colours. So have a look, see what you like the best. But when you have a look at the plastic, you can also think about, hey, these have all got glitters in them, and they have different glitters as well. So for an example of why this is how it is, say if you've got a super clear day and you're fishing Opening Night, okay, this one here, which has a bit of a larger glitter in it, that can look like a fish has been attacked in the scales, so it'll send off a bit of a flash on that, so that can also be a fish attractant. So something to think about when you're looking at all your different minnows and plastics is have a look at the actual glitter inside and the different sizes, and think about how you could use that in the areas that you're fishing. Okay, with your colours, and I want to touch on this, I'll roll a little clip above as we go, is I went out just recently with my son Emmett, and he was sitting down and we were both fishing the 3-inch minnow. I had a Mullotron on, which is a more natural darkish colour, and he had the Electric Chicken on. So, and I do this with a lot of people that I fish with, is to try and crack a pattern so that we can all catch fish. So I was casting and I wasn't catching a single thing on that style lure, that colour lure. So I said to Emmett, come on, get up and have a cast. So first cast with the Electric Chicken, he hooks up, as you'll see in this clip, boats a nice little flatties. So straight away, I changed up to electric chicken, and then from then on we had maybe a half an hour session where we boated 12 fish. So that was really cool, but that comes down to, and I've done that a heap of times, where one person will have the right colour on, so it pays, grab a couple of the packs of these lures, and then once you key into it, just change, and then you'll both have a good time. So another thing I'll touch on is weights. So I would recommend, if you're looking and you're not sure what to get, I would start from 1/4, 3/8, and then half an ounce, all on 3/0 size hooks, like I've showed you when I in the rigging there. So a 3/0 fits these perfectly, and then weights will cover anything from hardly any water up to a good depth of water. Right, we'll roll on to a nice little clip of Justin catching the flatty now, and then we'll look into more of the species and weights and how they suit.
Light in the headway.
Ah, nice.
Only little fella. Had a 3/8 and upped it to, I dropped it to a 1/4. Oh, can catch a flat there.
Ah, nice. Well, that's alright. Hold
Yeah.
on a minnow. Just boat flipping fish. Alright,
He's alright.
that's good. Have you ever handled one of them before? We've actually been seeing a heap of fish on the sounder, and that's a nice flatty, eh?
Yeah, nice flatty.
Awesome. What'd you get him on?
3-inch Minnowz, sexy mullet,
Awesome.
1/4 3/0 headlocks HD. It's funny, hey, I was bouncing that 3/8 for ages and not getting any action. I think it just
Put the quarter
a
on.
bit more subtle, eh? A bit nicer.
Awesome.
Send him back.
Send him back.
Right, when I'm talking species and weights to suit the 3-inch Minnowz, like I said previously, if you're going to go buy some packs of Jigheads, go from 1/4 to half an ounce. But just to show you how versatile, if I was to pick one, I'd probably pick the 1/4 3/0. So basically in the system that I fish, I can use that size lure anywhere. So I may be fishing a squirry snapper, chasing flathead or tarpon. You'll see a few offcuts as I'm speaking. Just recently went out on a session and I was chasing squire. It was in 6 meters of water, and I was still able to throw the 1/4 ounce, get a nice long cast, and then just let that drift down and let the actual lures, do the work for me. So that paddle tail on a nice light jighead will work down nice and slowly. And if you're chasing snapper, they can feed anywhere in the water column. Also, on that particular day, I'll run a clip as well. Myself and Emmett were out, and we run into tarpon. We've had a heap of fresh water, and this will, you could use this in a system that you're fishing where the salt meets the fresh, and you'll get a mix of bait in that. You'll often see different species come. So on this day, we got the tarpon, and we were able to use the 1/4 and the 3/0 to throw out, and they feed pretty similar to, I would say, a squire, where they could be anywhere in the water column. So in that depth of 6 meters, I was able to use the 1/4 and fish efficiently. Now, if I wanted to get to the bottom quicker, I would just put on a heavier weight. As long as you can stay in touch with it the whole time with your cast, you're pretty well set. To show the versatility of the 1/4, that same day, me and Emmett went out, as you've seen in the footage just past. We also chased flathead in no less than 30 centimeters of water. So really good all-round weight, the 1/4 3/0 to suit the 3-inch minnow, and then as the current picks up, you may want to move to your 3/8 and then your half ounce. But all have their own purpose in their own areas. That's just a couple of examples. So you'll be able to go out, grab a couple of packs of them jigheads and use them in your own system. Right, so that's it for this week's clip. A bit more of a techie clip, but we'll bring you a few more cool episodes soon when I get a little bit of time off work and I'm able to get out and film some cool fishing. So thanks for watching, and thanks for your time, and we'll catch you next week on Gear Up.